My question was specifically for a new brand. We are trying to build with D2C only. And now the first question which comes to mind after your with what we've seen, we are hearing from you, is how do we decide on which consumer segment to go? Where do I try to build my believers? What product do I build according to it? Any comments on that?
Excellent. No, good. So, Karan, first thing is, I think these are great questions. I think having the right questions is super important in the beginning, because as you go along, your available investments reduce, or your flexibility in the business reduces, and your learning increases. So, the problem with most startups is, I mean, it's a real issue. It's a real issue, is that you learn a lot, but you learn too late. So, I think those are you've got you're talking about the right questions. We'll have to talk about your category a little and your product a little before I can say anything around it.
I'm. We are trying right now with, let's say, apparel and specifically kids.
Kids apparel, got that. And what kind of kids apparel is this?
As in, we are quite open on it right now. I'm not specifying a single category.
Okay. So I think the first thing is to get sharper about your categories. That's definitely something you need to do. And second is you need to get a little more sharper on your on your audience or the premiumness of your offering. For example, you could do a one Friday kind of a thing, which is more premium, more international, global kind of positioning, and a strong mix of online offline. Or you could do Ginny and Johnny, or like something which is more which is broader, like is more affordable, more wide. Or you could do something like a Toons, which is saying that, okay, I'm targeting the mother, and kids clothing is my way in, but I'm going to sell a lot more to her because she trusts me. And typically young mothers are very busy people. They've got careers to handle, they've got kids, and they've got, like, so many commitments. So
Okay.
it's a good entry point, and they only want to buy from somebody they trust. So that's a good entry point. So I think getting sharp about your offering is absolutely number one thing, and then you can start defining other things around it as well.
Let's say I'm targeting more like Ginny and Johnny. I am a little open in terms of what products I'm offering. I am not going for a premium segment.
In that case, it's you're playing on price. So what sourcing strengths do you have? Like, one of the things which I learned in doing my own business, you should only get into a business in which you have an unfair advantage. So do you have an unfair advantage in affordable kids wear?
No.
But let's say you were at a stage where you'd already started it, right? And you wanted to take it somewhere already, because I think some people in the audience would be at that stage as well. And so if I was in that kind of a position, if I was in your position, I would really think of an unfair advantage first. And if I wasn't, if I was I was a little further down the line, I would probably look at a market which is underserviced, where certain designs, for example, a tier 3 market may not have the kind of designs that a Delhi market has for kids, and maybe I could just focus my entire budgets there. Say, okay, Northeast India is a market which doesn't have great kids clothing. It's underserviced, it's under penetrated, and I'll just have a dark store in a Guwahati or something. And when people order, I'll ship from Guwahati, so they'll get the order much faster than when they order from Delhi or Bombay.
I have been into handcrafted and curated ceramic tableware, and I just want to know, okay, I've been doing it. I've been trying to find producers. I've been trying to set up a production house and everything. At what point, with the objective of scaling up, does one get a signal that, hey, this is the tipping point and I need to change something, either strategy or scale up more or increase my inventory or my designs or whatever? And what is that? How do you get that feel of the thing? At what point?
I think one is you need to have a very clear like float, like a number for your float revenue. If I'm doing so much revenue, I can pay my costs of this. I can pay my cost. I can sustain, and at this revenue, I can keep going for 2 years without feeling that I'm drowning, right?
Mm.
Even if things go in the market, things go a little up and down, I'll be able to take it.
Mm.
So I think having that number will come from your financials, of course.
Mm. Mm.
Once you have that number
Mm.
and you have consistent purchases happening on certain categories and products, is the right time to sort of, let's say 30 to 40% of your sale
Mm.
is absolutely predictable. ये तो बिकेगा ही बिकेगा.
I
You know,
get.
let's say you might say that when I'm doing 20 or 30 lakhs a month, then I know that I'm ready for, then I'm at my float revenue.
I get.
And उसके बाद में you know that मेरी 30-40% सेल तो absolutely predictable है, और एक 20-30% थोड़ा बहुत ऊपर नीचे होती है, and that that's also semi predictable.
Mm.
That's that you need to supply, like go next step on the supply chain.
Okay, that was quite helpful. Thank you. Thank you.